This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball EXCEL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the Game of the Week. This is the 1978-81 Fall League season, and we got a game between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. You can consider it opening day for you guys, but I played quite a lot of fall games, basically throughout the year. The World Series, or the World Championship, I guess, for the Fall League is played over the Super Bowl. In this past year, in early 2022, in that same weekend is when it was broadcast. So in the earlier months of the year, the draft was held, draft results were posted, and then when there was some free time in the summer and early fall, I managed to play some extra games. So we're well into the fall season. You'll have a game of the week every Saturday. And it's almost like opening day. Cincinnati and the Cubs almost seems like a tradition for opening day. Plus we get to see what happens to the Cincinnati Reds 8 years into the future of that summer league. That's basically the distance apart of the two leagues. 70 to 73 and then the fall league it's 78 to 81, so there's an 8-year difference between the first and last years of the 4-year carryover. And the fall league, of course, is just taking a smaller chunk of games to be played, about 2/3 the length of the summer league, done more casually with more time off, as more focus on watching football and some other things in the autumn and less interested in baseball. And plus I'm working on the summer league transactions and analysis and so forth. But we get a game today between the Cubs and the Reds. This is a best of 5 series. We'll show you what's happened in the first 3 games. The series opened up in Wrigley Field. It was Tom Seaver, a member of the Cincinnati Reds. Trade from the Mets to the Reds has already happened, of course. Versus Rick Russell and the Cubs. And this is a very, very sloppy game. And the bottom of the 3rd inning, an error by Concepcion and then a home run. And then after a walk, another error by Concepcion and another home run. In the 4th inning, an inning is extended with an error by Joe Morgan and 2 more runs scored. You see, it's just a real sloppy mess for the Reds. And the Cubs walk away with a 9-5 victory. Game number 2 in Wrigley. It's Mario Soto with his 80 card. Seaver Soto will be at the top of this rotation now in this iteration of the Reds for quite some time. Mario Soto versus Jeff Zahn, acquired by the Cubs. This is a close game. We have an RBI double by Concepcion in the 2nd, RBI single by George Foster in the 3rd, RBI singles and doubles by Foster and Bench in the 7th for 4 runs. We have a Dave Kingman homer in the bottom of the 4th, an RBI single by Buckner in the 8th, but it is Doug Bear coming in to close it out. A little shaky, a hit and a walk, but he buttons up the game. And the Reds get a split in Wrigley with a 4-2 victory. Game number 3 in the friendly confines of Riverfront Stadium. It's Mike Krukow for the Cubs against Bob Ochinko, a free agent left-hander acquired from the Padres. And the Reds go right at Krukow. In the 1st inning, Griffey with a 2-run triple, RBI ground out by Foster. Some sloppy defense by the Cubs, a walk and some errors on a wild pitch, and then it is a grand slam homer by Wayne Garrett, a very old Wayne Garrett at this point, former New York Met. They get some more in the 6th, and the Reds pour it on and beat up the Cubs 12-2. They're up 2-1 in this series, as we have a game 4 today. Let's look at the overall standings as well in the league to this point. In this division, here we are. Everything's up for grabs. It's all kind of mushed together here. No one's run away from it. The Pirates have a 1979 championship in this timeline. The Reds win the West in 79, and also in 1981, they would have the best record in baseball. The Cardinals aren't quite there yet. They don't get until 82 when they get Lonnie Smith and Ozzie Smith on their team. And the Cubs are trying to maximize your Bill Buckner and Dave Kingman superstardoms in their brief little bit of superstardom there. You'll see it's a nice tight little bunch. Anybody can win this division. So today it's game 4. Can the Reds win this series 3-1? Doing the pitching today on the mound for the Cubs, it's going to be Paul Russell, a starter 6, brother of Rick Russell. They were teammates briefly. Russell also pitched in 78. Paul Russell also pitched in 78 for Cleveland. And for the Reds, it's Joe Price with his 1980 card. 7-3 with a 3.57 ERA. And let's get started from Cincinnati. Leading it off in the Fall League for you all, it will be Jose Cardinal. 39 is a single. Stan Pappy, 62, second X. This is Morgan. It's a 2E16 at this point in his career, and he makes the double play. Unfortunately for Joe Morgan fans, you're getting the ebb. You're going to have to wait until the Summer League progresses to get that Hall of Fame career, because right now, in this timeline, Morgan's only hitting 236 with his 1978 card. So, you're not quite. We've seen Cincinnati win the World Series in the summer, and now we've seen them 8 years in the future, and we still don't get evidence of the stellar, superstar, Hall of Fame, Hall of his own performance of Joe Morgan with arguably the greatest Strat-O-Matic cards of all time in the 75-76. Here is Enos Cabell now. 2 outs. 2-9 is a single. And Heidi Cruz, 4-5, off the Price card. Homer 1-7, double. That's a 2-base hit. Cabell has some wheels. He's a 17 runner. He's going to run off of Brett Butler in center field, and he scores. And here is Kingman, 66. Skies the center. 1-0 Cubs. All right, leading off for the Reds is Dave Concepcion, 58. Short X. This is Rafael Ramirez, a 344 short, makes the play. Brett Butler, 65, center. And George Foster, 57, is a bouncer to second X. This is Stan Pappy, a 40-20 at... Actually, he's not even that good, is he? Oh dear, he's the 40-41 at second base. But he makes a play. We'll go to the second. Bill Buckner, 34, pops the second. Buck Martinez, 3-6. Let's take a look at the Buck Martinez card. A nice little acquisition for the Chicago Cubs. Taken away from the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers had Darryl Porter and Charlie Moore and yada yada, and Buck Martinez was flat out stolen away. This is a fantastic card. It's 270 and 79 with the Brewers. Harvey's Wallbangers. I think he's got a -1 arm. Here, 3-6 is a solo shot, and the Cubs are now leading 2-0. Jerry Morales, 67, pops to third, and Rafael Ramirez bounces to short. Bottom of the second inning. Jerry Turner playing designated hitter for the Reds, acquired from the Padres. 2-6 is a single. Here is Johnny Bench. Let's take a look at Johnny Bench. It is 9 years later from the summer of 70. This is the magnificent 1979 card with 22 homers and a 276 batting average. Still has a -3 arm. Can't play the outfield anymore. Well, he probably could. They just didn't want him to. The pitch to Johnny Bench. 47 off Russell is a single to right field. Turner will, he'll just stay put at second base. It'll be Ken Griffey. 64 off of Paul Russell is third X. This is Cabell. It's a 2E19 at third base. Note that it's a ground ball B. Puts runners on the corners with Speed and Griffey. They're going to play back Rod Gilbreth. 2-8 is a K, and with 2 outs, And here he is, Joe Morgan, batting 8th on this team. Let's take a look at Morgan here. 1978, he had 236, 13 homers, just 79 walks. Just 79, we say, because he's normally in triple digits. But this would be probably his last year in Cincinnati, and then we'll see him soon on the Astros and the Giants. As we get into the early 80s, it'll wrap up for Joe. But he's got runners on the corners and 2 outs. The pitch to Joe Morgan. 38 is a sky to center field. We go to the 3rd. It'll be Jose Cardinal. 4-11 is a fly ball to right. Right X. Griffey is a 3-5 in right field. Makes the catch. Stan Pappy. 37 is a K. Enos Cabell. 67 is a pop to 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd, it's Garth Orge getting a surprise start today, rotating their bench a little bit. 37's a strikeout. Dave Concepcion, 35 is a fly to left. And Brett Butler, 2-8 is a grounder to first. We go to the 4th, 2-0 game. Heidi Cruz, 68 pops to first. Dave Kingman, 1-6 is a K. And Buckner, 1-6 is a double to right. Here's Buck Martinez, big homer earlier in the game, but he grounds this short. 2-0 Cubs. Bottom of the 4th. George Foster, 2-6 is a K. Jerry Turner, 58, flies it into right field, and with 2 outs, Johnny Bench. 48 is a single off of Russell's card. The tie run will be Ken Griffey. 1-6, let's take a look at Griffey's card of 79. This would be on a division-winning Cincinnati team. He hit .316 in 79 with 8 home runs. The good news is he'll also have a nice 81 card for the Reds coming up in next year or in a couple years. So he's got a nice little tenure with the Reds before he eventually goes to like the Yankees in the early 80s. 1-6 is triple, 1-3 double. That's going to be a double. Bench is an 11 runner, 12-13. You got a minus arm in center. He's going to stay put at 3rd. The Ducks are in the pond, and the batter is Rod Gilbreth, acquired from the Braves. 2-6, and he strikes out. We go to the 5th, 2-0 game. Jerry Morales, 2-11, bounce to short. Rafael Ramirez, 4-10, center B. And Jose Cardinal, 66, skies to center field. 2-0 Cubs. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, bottom of the 5th in Cincinnati. Down 2-zip. This Red offense is just not as potent as the previous iterations, as you can imagine. And of course, you only have 2 contributions from the 1981 squads, Tom Seaver being one of them. And the other one, I think, is they pilfered Brett Butler to play center field off the Braves as well. That's a nice little pickup. As you know, Geronimo's tenure is over, and they need a center fielder. And Eddie Milner's not in town yet, or Paul Householder, so Brett Butler is doing a nice job in center. And of course, you know, 1981, the Cincinnati Reds had the best record in baseball and were not invited to the playoffs. Everybody in Cincinnati is well aware of that. Bottom of the 5th, Joe Morgan leads it off. 4-10 off Russell, flies it left. Pitching like his big brother is Paul. Garth Orge, 37 is a K, and with 2 outs. Concepcion, 57, second X. Again, this is the 40-41 second baseman. That's an error. And the tie run is Brett Butler. 38 is a walk. 2 on. 2 outs. Russell, at this point, trying to qualify for a win with a 2-0 lead and 2 on. The pitch to George Foster. 3-10 is a strikeout. We go to the 6th. This is Price's breaking inning. Stan Pappy, 52, pops to short. Enos Cabell, 65, rolls to second. And Heidi Cruz, 37's a single. which brings up the dangerous Dave Kingman. Let's take a look at the Dave Kingman card. Yes, this is the 79 Dave Kingman and his 48 bombs and a 288 batting average, which gets lost a little bit, as he's always had tons of homers, but he usually hits 199 or 210 with them. But he actually hits 288. This is his best year in Major League Baseball, that magical year of 1979. They have a runner at first and 2 outs. The pitch to Dave Kingman. 1-9, just on cue. He hits it out of Riverfront. That ball's still flying out there, folks. Well into the parking lot. Dave Kingman, 2-run blast, and it's 4-0. Wow. Bill Buckner, 49, single to 1, lines out. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's now 4-0, and the Reds are just in a lackluster performance today. Jerry Turner, 47, off Russell is a single. This is Russell's breaking inning. The Reds are hoping for similar results that their Cubs got and more. Johnny Bench, 34 is sky to center. Ken Griffey, 2-7 is a single ... And you're at that breaking point here, but he's throwing a shutout as well. If he breaks, we'll get him out of there. Otherwise, we'll have him try for the shutout, I guess. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Gilbreth, B. Bunner playing back and holding, looking for a double play. The pitch to Rod Gilbreth. 46, there it is, base hit to left field. And that'll score a run, and Griffey will take a big turnaround second. Wanted to go to third, but realized they're down by a bunch of runs, and will stay at second base. That gets Mr. Paul Russell out of there. And into the Cub bullpen. Oh boy, we're a long way away from Bruce Sutter, who they would love to bring in, as we have a been sitting on the shelf too long, Ken Holtzman, Joey McLaughlin, and Dennis Kinney in the Cub pen. Against the lefty Morgan, we will go with the lefty Holtzman. 5 1/3 in the books for Mr. Russell, responsible for the runners at first and second. And Ken Holtzman comes in. Let's take a look at Ken Holtzman. This really would have been a masterful matchup if it was 1972 World Series, Ken Holtzman and Joe Morgan. But it's much later in each gentleman's career. We talked about Morgan. The numbers for Holtzman are worse. He's 6-9 with a 4.58 ERA in 118 innings for the Cubs in '79. But we do have a Holtzman-Morgan matchup, just like in '72 series. First and second, 1 out. The pitch to Joe Morgan. 110 flies to right, and with 2 outs, it's Garth Horge. 49 off Holtzman, skies to center field. We'll go to the 7th, a 4-1 game. They're going to pull Price as he is in, put 2 men on his breaking inning. They're going to turn this thing over to Ron Davis in the 7th. Former New York Yankee Ron Davis. Nice little pickup for the Reds. 14-2 in '79 for the Yankees with a 2.86 ERA. The Reds are always looking for great relief pitching. I don't know if Sparky Anderson is still managing the team, though. I think it's 78 through 81. He might be with the Tigers by this point. Can't recall when he goes over there. But anyway, top of the 7th inning. Ron Davis on the mound, a righty, against Buck Martinez. 2-8 grounds to short. Jerry Morales, 55. Triple 1-2, single. That's a base hit. Rafael Ramirez, 1-5. Let's take a look at this card. So Ramirez, we know him to be an Atlanta Brave for pretty much most of the 80s, plus a little bit with the Astros at the end there. But this is an extra player card from 1980, and as you know, extra player cards have a tendency to bounce around when they haven't been established yet, and he's a rookie. And that's what Ramirez is here. Nice little pickup for the Cubs. 1-5 homer, 1-4 double. This is the homer, gets the 2-base hit to center field. Morales is a 12 runner. He will not challenge the Butler arm. So Ron Davis is in a pickle here in the 7th. Jose Cardinal does not hit righties well at all. He'll leave the game for a pinch hitter. And that pinch hitter will be Bobby Mercer. Let's take a look at Bobby Mercer as a pinch hitter. Mercer would have been with the Yankees and the Giants a little bit, and then back to the Yankees with the Cubs in between. He moved all over. This is Bobby's 78 card, a 281 average, but just 9 home runs. And now you can see there's a disparity defensively between him being a 2 in right, but a 4 in center now. So second and third, the infield comes up for Bobby Mercer. Here's the pitch. 1-9, nails it, triple, 1-11, double. That's a 2-base hit. That'll score a couple runs, and the Boo Birds come out for Ron Davis. So he's turned this winnable game into a 6-1 deficit suddenly. Stan Pappy, the runner at second. The pitch, 1-7 is a K. And Cabell. 3-6, let's take a look at Enos. Cabell. 78 was an Astro. Eventually, I think he's on the Tigers when they win the 84 World Series. And, of course, the Astros can't keep all their dudes either. They lose Cabell. Nice corner player. 295 hitter. And 682 plate appearances since 78. 3-6 is homer 1-2 double. That is another double. And that is another run. The Cubs are pouring it on 7-1 here in the 7th inning. Heidi Cruz. 46, single 1-17, gets the 17. Runners in the corners, 2 outs for Kingman. 1-11 is a walk. And with 2 outs, the final batter for Ron Davis, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, is Bill Buckner. Let's take a look at him. Bill Buckner. Yeah, this is your 1980 National League batting champion. Finished a couple points better than Keith Hernandez. 324 batting average. Excellent performance for the Cubs in 1980. Good defense as well. The pitch to Bill Buckner. 1-7 classic double on a 14. That's another 2-run double. And oh boy, folks, the Boo Birds just come raining down here on Ron Davis as he cannot get 3 outs in the 7th inning. And it's a disaster. It is 9-1. I'll have Dave Tomlin come on in the 8th. Try and get an out if he can. I mean, Buck Martinez, or I should say in the 7th, but they bat around. I got to put the result in the 8th frame. You got second and third with 2 outs, and Buck Martinez. 3-6, Buck Martinez. Oh my goodness, folks. Same thing he did in the 2nd inning. It is gone, and these Cubs making a statement in the Fall League. Getting some career performances out of Kingman and Buckner. You know, Cardinal, it's 340 against the lefties with that card. Cabell, it's 295. Bobby Mercer, you know, they do have Rick Russell. And, of course, Suter, normally wasting away as the best closer in all of baseball. Well, now he has reason to get excited. He might be going to the playoffs for this Cub team. What a debacle. It is 12-1. Jerry Morales, 49 walks. Rafael Ramirez, 2-7. Grounds to short, and mercy, it is over. At least the 7th inning is. 12-1. Stretch time here in Cincinnati. Well, it didn't turn out very well. We've been listening to Stretching Out in Bootsy's Rubber Band. Bootsy Collins from Parliament. Big Cincinnati Red fan. But his Reds have let him down today. Disappointingly, a 12-1 deficit. Holtzman will take a seat. And we'll go to Joey McLaughlin. The Cubs will just rotate through their bullpen to get this thing over with. Joey McLaughlin, Concepcion. 48, single to 1, lines out. Brett Butler, 38's a walk. George Foster, 2-5 is a K with 2 outs. Jerry Turner, 2-7, single 1-11, but he misses it and lines out. We'll go to the 8th inning now, and I think the Doug Bear, the seldom used Reds closer, because it's been that kind of year for the Reds, is going to get some work in. He actually needs to pitch a little bit. He'll come on in the 8th inning, collect some innings, and he'll face Bobby Mercer. 55 is a walk. Stan Pappy, 1-2, flies to left field. Cabell, 48, single to 1, line out. Nope, didn't line out. He singled, 1-1. My goodness, 2 on, 1 out for Heidi Cruz. 2-2 is a low max. Well, there you go. All right, bottom of the 8th inning. We'll go continue into the bullpen with Dennis Kinney. They like to get all the innings in for the relievers. And it'll be Johnny Bench. 5-10 is catcher's card. But Martinez, the 2E6 catcher, makes the play. Ken Griffey, 44, 1-6 double. It's a 2-base hit. And batting for Gilbreth, they're going to have Steve Nikosha get some work in as a pinch hitter. Good against lefties. But 66 is a fly to left. And with 2 outs, Joe Morgan. 69, center field. We'll rotate the defense with Nikosha catching bench at first, Orge at third, and DH will be Nikosha, or it'll stay Jerry Turner. We go to the 9th, 12-1 game. What a disaster. Kingman, a national television disaster for the Cincinnati Reds. Oh, at least they had the World Series championship a few weeks ago to celebrate. Dave Kingman, 69 off of Bear, rolls to second. Buckner, 2-8, rolls to first. And Buck Martinez, 44, homer 1-17 off of Bear, is a single. It doesn't have power against righties. Jerry Morales, 5-12 is a walk. And Ramirez, again, 55 is another walk. They're loaded for Bobby Mercer. This is his 3rd plate appearance since the 7th inning as a pinch hitter. And he's been on all 3 times. 3-9 is single ... Oh, the Reds. Their team ERA is falling completely apart here in a 14-1 massacre. Stan Pappy, 57 is a K. If there's anybody still here in Cincinnati, remember to shut the lights off before the end of the game. And to add insult to injury, Bruce Sutter is going to make an appearance in a 14-1 game. He's getting antsy. He hasn't pitched in a while. Let's take a look at Bruce Sutter's magnificent card. 1979 at a 2.23 ERA. Just a wonderful card in this era. Don't know why you would let him go to the Cardinals if they're in the same division, but there, alas, that's what happened. Bottom of the 9th, here we go. It'll be Orge leading off. 39, grounds to short. And Concepcion, 55, second X. 40-41 at second. It's a single. Butler, 58's a K. And Foster, 111 is a K. And that'll do it, folks. Ugly day in Cincinnati. The Cubs needed to get a split, and they have. We'll get to look at the year-to-date numbers thus far for these 2 teams. Doug Bear. Oh boy, he was awful, too. Hitting a walk in that inning. And then 2 more hits and 2 runs, then 2 more walks and a K in that inning. Tomlin came on in the 7th and gave up a hit and did get the strikeout, a hit and a K. Ron Davis was a disaster, giving up just a mess. Ron Davis gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits and 7 runs with a walk sandwiched in there. Just awfulness. Joe Price does take the loss, though. Gave up 7 hits in 6 innings with 4 runs. They probably should have stuck with him, obviously. But he kept the game close, so walk and 2 strikeouts. Sutter's 9th inning, give up a hit and a couple Ks. Kinney a hit. McLaughlin a walk and a K. Nice little performance for Holtzman in the bottom of the 6th inning, getting 2 batters out. Paul Russell does get that win. 7 hits and a run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. It's a lot of Ks. 1-009, 0-109, 13-17-19, 14-17, I should say. So Tomlin did give up a run. 1-009, 0-109, 14-17-19, 14-17-19, 5-4-2-9, 5-4-2-9. That is game 4. We'll look at the year-to-date numbers. And the Cubs continue to be over 500, where the Reds fall back. The Reds now, well, they're 9-10. A little bit of a, you know, they were in the World Series in the Fall League last year, losing it to Baltimore. And this year they're hitting .283, but a .423 team ERA at this point with a 9-10 record. And the Cubs are 11-9. That's nice for those guys. Well in contention for our stuff. .256 team batting average. An unsightly .472 team ERA. That's going to have to improve if they want to make a push for the playoffs. Well, that's it. We'll have a Game 5 result at the end of the video. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here's Game 5 back at Wrigley Field between the Reds and Cubs. Back to Game 1 starters Tom Seaver and Rick Russell. In the second inning, Kingman a solo shot. And it will be how far a ball Dave Kingman can hit will be the key to this game. In the fourth inning, the Reds tie it up with an RBI single by Bench. It's 1-1. In the sixth inning, Mercer, after Cabell reaches, gets a single, and Cabell runs to third on the hit, and you got a sac fly for Dave Kingman. Didn't leave the park, but it went very far, and that made it 2-1. In the eighth inning, Cabell gets a single, Sadik hits him to third base, and once again, Dave Kingman hits another fly ball B question mark on his card, and yeah, all the RBI on all long flies. One that left the park, two that didn't, but that would be enough. That's 3 runs for Russell off of disappointed Tom Seaver, who actually went 8 innings, giving up 9 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts, complete game. In the eighth, after a Butler single, the Cubs say, hey, we invested a lot in Bruce Sutter. Let's give him a 2-inning save opportunity. And he delivers. A walk, a K, a double play ball, and then 3 up and 3 down in the ninth for Bruce Sutter, 2-inning save. Now it's going to mean something, folks. It's going to mean something for these Cubs. When we look at the overall standings now, you see that in this division that the Reds are really slumping now. They're now 3.5 games and 2 games behind the Cardinals, and the Cubs are right there. And the Pirates should be making some hay during this timeline as well. And that's where we're at right now in this fall league, as the Reds look just kind of meh at this point, just playing very mediocre baseball. Thanks for checking out the fall league. We'll see you next time.